Is yes, we're actually speaking about discipline.
Discipline, yes.
Yes, so
Yeah. It's interesting,
it's
because
interesting that the topic.
yeah, it flows.
Yes.
Last week we had the extempo people, and we were talking about play, and that's very playful. And then this week it's prison
We're in each
reform,
other's
and
heads,
today we're
Robin,
talking
we're in
about
each other's heads.
Seriously, great minds.
Yeah.
Yes. So today I'm with Robin Edwards, speech language pathologist at Therapy Works, and we're going to chat about discipline, as we said. And yeah, you know, growing up, you know, we have some phrases here, and I heard, if not at least two of them, I heard all of them
Right.
often growing up.
Yes.
You know, spare not the rod and spoil the child.
Yeah.
Children to be seen and not heard. Do what
Right.
I say, not what I do.
Right.
That
right.
kind of thing. Or another one is because I said so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. and it's this. So discipline is this really complex topic, right? I mean, and we're not gonna break it down to the full extent that it to properly discuss it in just a short segment.
Right.
But I think the points that I wanted to get across this morning is that those phrases are not discipline. That is not what discipline is. Discipline is, I mean, it's one of our watchwords for Trinidad, right? So really look a little deeper. What does it mean? Is it just about punishment? Is it just about the rod?
Right.
You know? No, it's a coin. There are two sides to it, and we have to pay attention to both sides, as well as, is discipline the child's responsibility? Whose responsibility is it to be disciplined or to teach discipline?
Right.
Is it just the parents? I don't believe so. I believe that it's everybody.
I believe it's everybody, agreed. But I believe children growing up, they look up to their parents or the adults around them, you know, and they emulate certain things.
Yes. So I think that's really the first step in expecting a child to be disciplined or to have discipline. You have to model the behavior that you want to see. If you don't want your child to be cursing, don't curse in front of your kid. If you
Right.
don't want your kid to
Simple.
be violent, don't hit your child, don't beat your child.
Right.
Violence teaches violence. Violence begets violence. And I mean, now I'm not trying to tell anybody how to discipline their kid. That's every parent's own right and responsibility, for sure. But there are different levels, and my personal opinion and belief is that corporal punishment, thank God it's out of our schools now. You know,
Right.
it's not useful.
Yeah, growing up and going to school when it was not banned,
Right, yes.
I got a lot of corporal punishment. A lot. At a certain point in primary school, I would literally be beaten every single day.
Wow.
For one reason. For one reason.
Oh, God.
You know,
what were you doing?
So I was not able to do my homework because my textbook was stolen. Textbooks were super expensive back then.
Right.
And I had gotten a replacement, which was stolen again.
Right.
And from standard 4 into standard 5, that was because common entrance.
Yeah.
They'd prepare from standard 4. I did not have my homework almost every day completed because, again, I'd lived very far away from the school.
Right.
I didn't have school classmates around me who I could borrow a book from readily or anything like that.
So you got licks?
And so I got licks every day.
And was that useful to you? Did that teach you something? Because
No,
I'm listening to your
it did not.
story, and all I can think is that's unfair.
Yeah.
That's not you're not teaching a lesson by giving a child that's going through that licks, you know? I think the three main ideas that lead to a disciplined child as well as a disciplined society. One is trust, two is integrity, and three is boundaries, and they all are very closely linked, right? You should have been able to trust the adults in your life to understand that you weren't being naughty, you weren't being willful, you weren't purposefully not doing your homework.
Right.
There was a rationale behind it. It was the adult's responsibility to figure out how that could be solved.
Mind you, it was
did
not my
have
parents.
the
It was
skill.
Yeah. Mind you, it was not my parents.
No,
When we put
no.
them in the clay, it was the teacher.
Yeah. Yeah, but whoever it was, you did not have the ability to solve that problem, to prevent yourself from getting licks. If you did, you would have.
Right.
You know? creating, so that's where boundaries and expectations come in. We have to have realistic expectations for our kids, and we have to create boundaries for them that are clear. Now, having said that, pushing boundaries is actually an important part of a child's development. It's an important part of them growing and learning and figuring out what they're capable of doing, you know. But we, as the adults in our children's lives, have to show them what boundaries are safe. An important part of boundaries is, you know, I've seen it where a parent is, or an adult is ignoring a behavior, ignoring a behavior, ignoring a behavior, and then all of a sudden blowing up at the child and yeah. No, that's not, again, teaching the child anything.
Right.
You know, a good rule of thumb that a parent told me that they use is they speak once. By the time you speak the second time, you're standing up. And by the time you have to speak a third time, you're walking towards whatever the situation is, right?
Right.
The child needs to understand that what you say is what you mean, right? Again, with boundaries. You can't, you know, I had a parent once tell me, the kid was like in the grocery and they were acting out or something, and the mother was like, I'm gonna take away Christmas. And I was like, whoa, kids are really smart. That little boy was like, no. And he kept doing whatever it was he was doing.
Right.
He knew she wasn't going to take away Christmas.
Because it wasn't a realistic boundary.
It's not a realistic boundary. It's not a realistic consequence.
Yes.
Your consequences have to be realistic. And it would have been much better to say no TV for the rest of the evening.
Right.
You know?
Speaking about boundaries, unfortunately, we are at the time boundary
there you go.
for the segment. But this is such a huge topic, and I think we need to continue next week.
Yeah, we can definitely, because I have lots more to say, because there's the flip side of discipline, which is about motivation and reward. So,
exactly. So we're going to continue the conversation on discipline next week. So tune into Therapy Works on Monday. Again, I will be with Robin Edwards, speech language pathologist at Therapy Works, and we'll come back to that topic. But for now, we're going to take a short break and come right back. Stay with us.